At dawn on the thorny scrub edge, an adult honey badger stretches out of its shallow den and fills its lungs with the cool breeze to kickstart the day. A solitary male marks his territory with scent glands on a low trunk, a message no intruder can mistake. With foreclaws like chisels, it rips through soft soil, flinging dirt to unearth buried insects. It pauses, shakes off dust, and lifts its whiskers to read the wind before moving on. Finding a collapsed termite mound, it pries open the crust and laps up protein-rich larvae for a fast energy boost. On a sun-baked slope, beetles can't escape. The crisp crack of breakfast echoes. Rolling through a shallow mud wallow, the badger coats itself to deter parasites and shed heat. Suddenly, its hackles rise and the body freezes, ears tuned to every odd sound along the grassland verge. All clear, it drops low tail brushing the grass and trots across the short sward to stay unseen. On stony ground, it levers up a small rock, a lizard flashes out, and iron jaws snap shut. Rearing onto its hind legs, it scans over tall grass, a sentry post that widens its view. Thirsty, it slips to a shaded rill, laps a few quick mouthfuls, and retreats before leaving a trail. At a sandy, stony bank, it digs and neatly grabs a land crab, dodging the claws with precision. Nose close to earth, it follows a faint snake trail. Dry leaves whisper the target is near. A sideways burst, firm neck, true aim. It clamps a juvenile snake by the spine and whips it dead. In the shade of a hollow root, it feeds fast, leaving the tough, low-value parts behind. Surplus meat is buried in a shallow cache and covered with leaves, a pantry for the hours ahead. A quick glance, and it slips across the fringe of a jackal's range. Calm steps of a seasoned loner. At a thin woodland edge, a hollow trunk draws it in. Damp musk and the brush of bat wings promise opportunity. Back outside, it scratches its back on a thorn trunk, easing the itch and dislodging ticks' daily armor maintenance. As heat builds, it sprawls under scrub shade, tongue lolling to dump heat and save energy for noon. Finding a cool depression, it lies on its side, pressing belly to earth to chill quickly, then dozes. Toward afternoon, it tackles trickier prey, staking out a scorpion beneath a flat stone with iron patience. A sharp flip of stone, a bite to the head, and the venomous tail is discarded. A tunnel of thorns doesn't slow it. Back arched, it zigzags to dodge spines like a pro. Peering up an acacia, it spots a low hive, marks the spot, and backs off to prepare. With a dry twig in its mouth, it teases the hive entrance, waiting for confusion to spread. When the moment opens, that strong tongue delivers wax-licking honey and brood, precious sugar and fat. Stung a few times, it rolls in dust to cake the fur, dull the pain, and shed the bee scent. On a hot, rocky slope, it noses an old crevice, testing for a snake sheltering from heat. A snack may wait. Meeting a distant mongoose, it gives a short, gruff growl, enough for both to part without wasting energy. Under a rotten stump, it rakes out pulpy roots for big beetle grubs, rich protein from dead wood. At a tiny pool, it splashes water over nose and face, keeping the nose in peak condition. Finding a fallen chick near a village edge, it checks, then leaves. When it smells humans, caution first. On a game trail, it rummages antelope dung for dung beetles, using every available food source. At a live mound, it tests with a nip, then withdraws, waiting for termites to calm before returning. In brush laced with leopard scent, it flattens to the earth, folding itself into grass shadow, vanishing in plain sight. Climbing a fallen log, it surveys all around height, gives a view and windborne news. Striking a burrow of a mole rat, it digs hard, hauling the prey out with powerful forelegs. A damp gravel bar supplies minerals. It licks the ground, drinking trace elements from stone. In open sun, it dashes a lizard across bare ground, then breaks in time to spare energy. In dry grass, a quick hook snatches a stick insect from leaves. Small meal, big payoff. Catching human scent, it flattens and slides across an old track, holding breath paragon of caution. At noon, it curls beneath thorn cover to nap short sleep, fast recovery. Waking, it shifts to the coolest patch and tucks tail over belly heat management of a veteran hunter. With evening coming, it re-patrols the borders, laying fresh marks, reinforcing invisible lines. On a sparse woodland edge ground, birds chatter. It creeps closer, yet keeps a safe buffer. With stout claws, it prizes down a dropped weaver nest and takes the cracked eggs, quick energy before dusk. At a crossroads of big game paths, it stops to listen heavy steps afar. Say, wait it out. On fine sand, it digs swiftly for a few small terrapin eggs, then smooths the surface to erase sign. After rain, shed termite wings carpet the ground. It forages widely, wastes nothing nature offers. A lone jackal appears on the grassland edge. It bristles, rushes to bluff, then breaks off before a fight. By a low bush, it bares teeth and drives off a young badger resource order re-established. At a cool, hollow trunk, it rubs belly and armpits on wood, evicting stubborn parasites. Along a fallow field, it stalks a field mouse. One lightning pounce, and the prey goes limp. Faced with a thorn fence, it compresses its body, threads the gap, and widens the route. Escapology perfected. In the cooler hour, it grooms picking ticks from the neck with incisors' meticulous body care. As wind shifts, it flips its foraging axis upwind, masking scent, melting into oncoming night. An old hippo latrine teems with large beetles, paradise for them, and a fatty feast for it. At dusk, it quickens, crossing the open flat as insects chorus and the wind surges. Under a shrub, it digs a shallow night hollow, lining it with dry leaves for warmth and odor control. At the den mouth, it lingers, testing for snake scent before entering. Safety is never optional. It steps out briefly to urine mark near the den, laying a fresh scented boundary in the dark. At the shrub edge, a crisp snap ends a shrew with a precise nate bite. It eats the soft cartilage, leaving big bones, choosing the most digestible nutrients. An owl hoots. The badger drops its head and retreats into the hollow, only its nose showing survival instinct honed. Night deepens. It makes a second run along the dark stream margin, prime time for a silent nocturnal hunter. On a sandy night bank, scorpions are abroad. It digs hard, hauling them out without taking a sting. A freshly shed snake appears. It feints and dodges, then counters in a blink. On a dry creek bed, it finds a fish carcass dropped by birds, eating the nutrient-rich belly nature's recycling. Confronted by a porcupine, it wisely circles away, no need to waste strength. Back at the morning cache, it digs up the stored meat and finishes it disciplined pantry management. Before sleep, it scrubs its muzzle with dry sand and rubs both forelegs, end-of-day cleansing ritual. It rakes leaves to seal the den entrance, cutting wind and masking scent. The night blanket rustles into place. At last, it curls in the leaf-lined hollow. Ears still twitch, but the breathing settles. Another long day of a loner. Closes safe and efficient.